Okay, if you have an old style Bobcat exchange system and you're looking to replace the seals and maybe even more than that, you come to the right place. I'm going to try to do my best to show you an easy way to disassemble this and repair it. Looking at this diagram, which you may find online, it gets kind of confusing on how it is disassembled from this. I'm gonna not spend the time on telling you what I thought was the way to take it apart and just go straight to how to take it apart. What I'd recommend doing is starting the piece of equipment on our e42. The rocker toggle for this exchange unit was on the left side. It's a rocker switch, it says lock and unlock, and that'll bring the pins in and out. I brought it into the innermost and then shut the machine off. Then popped the cap on the hydraulic tank to relieve the pressure if there's any in there, if that would help. So, first step I did was crack the lines up here. There's two lines that feed the hydraulic fluid here, and about 2 feet up, 19 millimeters should pop those loose if yours is the same. So what that'll do is allow this to not have an air or hydraulic or fluid fluid lock, air lock, and you will be able to push these in. Now, to explain this real quick, if you have a shop that you don't really care what kind of a mess you make, I guess taking the lines completely off up here would be the best. The reason why is because these things get really hard to fight if they have limited in and out access. The only good thing is sometimes the lines being attached do keep the spring from pushing these out. This is going to make sense in a little bit. Pushing those pins back out when you're trying to get, where did it go? There it is. That thing in and out, which is what holds this in. So once you get to that point, you've released the pressure, you've brought those in as far as you can with the machine's off. Definitely bring this up while it's running to a workable height. That's going to make it a lot easier on you. And I apologize for having to do it this way. I did this earlier, but I brought the old parts back. We replaced all the old parts, and so I couldn't do the video at work. So this is what I got to work with. So to show you how this works, you'll take a socket that fits over this pin, but not too big that it hits the actual housing. So it's just going to fit over. I took a giant C-clamp, cracked the lines loose, not open, not detached all the way, but just loose up here, and brought this in to where this mechanism recessed in, exposing this pin, or this clip right inside here. You probably already see it, but that's going to expose that. Once it does, I lock those lines back up, and that'll keep this from coming back out. And then you could take a pick. I took a real sharp pick right behind this area here and just pulled down and out, and it pops out pretty easy. It's really not that hard to get that out if it's in half decent shape. Okay. So the next step is, if you have a Dremel, I took a Dremel and grind a little groove 180, so that way I can put a screwdriver in there and pry that out. Those first couple millimeters or whatever is about the hardest to get out, and once you do, you can take a pair of channel locks, vice grips, clamp onto it, put a screwdriver in, and wedge this thing out. keep adjusting it as you go, wedging it out. Once you get one side out, you know, it'll pop out. There'll be oil everywhere. It'll be a mess. You can take the spring out, but you cannot drive from the other side this other pin out. You're going to have to do the same, by the way. Go to the other side, push this pin, or excuse me, push this housing in so you can get this out. And then there's actually a bracket inside the housing that just this fits through. So I guess if you had a long pin, you could send it through. If it's smaller than the diameter of this, you could drive that other one out and not have to, you know, take a Dremel and cut the groove and whatnot to get the other side out. Once you do that, you'll have basically what you're looking at here. That's how this comes apart. Like I said, I can't go into how I thought this came apart. I thought these were, it's just so weird. But it's really simple. In the past, I've taken stuff off above this unit, and it actually damaged an O-ring and left me stranded. So if you take the lines off above, like I talked about earlier, you're going to be, I think, better off by not pulling any of this other stuff apart. Okay, just take the lines off. And as you need to with pushing in and out, you can lock and unlock by, you know, for your benefit. What I mean by that is once you get this out, I don't think it really matters because now there's an airflow there. So, you know, you'll knock this other side in, take the clip off, pull it out, you're done. So when it comes to the seals, what I would recommend is if you're in a pinch or you're out in the field and you're not going to be anywhere near Bobcat or whatever the case is, I would definitely get extra of these inner seals that are in here. There's a purple one and a black one. The reason why is because they're very difficult to get in there, and I've actually creased some and ruined some and had to go back to Bobcat and get some more. It would be nice to have those extra on hand. Here they are right here. So what I did with this, the purple one will be on the back, that one real close to the edge on the back inner side. The black one's recessed in here. It's really, this one's the hardest one. So with a heat gun or a torch, whatever you can use to get a little bit of heat, you know, far away, it's good because the more these can flex, the better they are. You know, less chance they're gonna crease on you or cause you problems, and they'll snap in better. You know, so if you look on these, there will be a groove. You know, here's kind of a smoother side. But here's the back side with a groove and a spring on it. Now there's conflicting information from a couple people that I called, but you know, just like on a motorcycle shock, that spring side I put towards the reservoir side. Okay, so it's sliding through, you know, with the spring side here on the back for the purple inside. Likewise with the black. Let me see if I can see how that's got a groove right there, and then this side's smooth. The blacks, if it was inside, would be facing, you know, where the spring is, or I don't even know if there's a spring in this one, but that spot is facing back. This is facing out. So this is going to go through those. This one right here, I'll show you this, actually I'll just show you right now. So this recessed part of this sleeve goes to the outer side of the right and left. The black thin washer that you will get with everything, if you order everything, goes towards the outside, and then this goes behind it. Okay. On this, on the actual bucket, the actual pin that slides, you'll have this, and underneath this is a flat black, like a flat black rubber bushing that goes on first. They'll come together in the package, but then, you know, you'll put the black one on and then this one over it. So once you get that, you put some grease on this or some oil. Putting this on can be kind of tricky. You really got to kind of work it with some weight on it, and it'll finally pop, and then right about here it'll catch again, and it'll pop again, and that's what you'll be left with. And that's how I install. Go into here. I will install this with sometimes that C-clamp, making sure I'm as straight as I possibly can be. Lines open, which it doesn't matter on the first one actually. But once I get the socket on here and the C-clamp around this unit, push driving everything in. Once it gets in, I'll push this clip in. Now you go to the other side, put the spring in. Through that center, you'll notice if it's sticking out, it should disappear pretty good in there. Like that. And then when you get to the other side, you'll do the same once you get this complete. And you may have to, at that point, because of how tight this is going to be, see, this is going to create a vapor lock here. Obviously, I got a part missing here. But you're going to, so the two lines, I believe, it's still a mystery on how this works. It doesn't matter for the fixing of the seals, the repair of the seals. But as far as how this works, it's a little strange. It's kind of a mystery to me because I don't know if it's drawing fluid from the center, sucking these two back, or if it's pumping oil into the front side, driving them back, and that's what the seals are for inside. I do not know that. But anyhow, it doesn't matter because if you fix these right, and you know, then you're going to have a unit that's not leaking, and you move on. So I'm trying to think of where I left off here. On this unit, once you push, yeah, you'll have to crack the lines. That's right, because there's now a vapor lock. You'll crack the lines again. Take the C-clamp with the socket, put it in, and then at that point, lock the lines again so you can take the C-clamp off and it won't push this out. And that way you'll be able to put this clip in. And the way I put these clips in is just basically like this. I'll snap them in as tight as I can with a lot of pressure on one side. This will stay because it's in the groove. And then I'll take a screwdriver to about right here and that'll finish the job. It's not really hard. So once those are in, both those are in, and you make sure the two lines are sealed, you know, take the 19 millimeter and tighten both of those hydraulic lines up. You can start the machine and hit lock, the rocker toggle lock, and that will push them out, go in and out however many times it takes. Sometimes if there's air in a hydraulic line, you'll hear it growling, you'll hear it whining because it's, you know, it's kind of going through, it's getting the air out of the lines. And then definitely top off if the level, if you look at the tank, usually Bobcat shows you what orientation to have the boom in, you know, extend it out all the way to the ground, and then read the level in the tank, add if necessary, all that stuff. So yeah, definitely get extra of those inners, and not so much the outers. The outers are super simple, guys. It's just the inners that can crease on you and hang up, and you know, if you have a screwdriver trying to force them in there and you slip and cut them, don't be out in the field and not have extra of the purple and the black to go on the inside of those sleeves. You know, just kind of leave you hanging. So hopefully this helps. If there's anything I forgot, I'll post it in the comments myself. Likewise with your questions. If you have any questions for me on this, I'll be glad to answer them down there as well. Okay, hope this helps. So long.